Susan says, I missed the request, just curious. Lucy Letby, nurse in Chester who killed... haven't heard of that one, Susan. Apologies for missing that one. We'll certainly have a look at that tonight. Interesting how they get their initials in. They love their numbers. First thing I would say about that image is how crap it looks. Photoshop special, perhaps. They've got the weird ears. Weird ear alert. We'll go beyond just looking at images. How many people have an earlobe like this? But not many, surely. Those teeth also don't look particularly real. This story must have completely passed me by, but someone's got a net worth for them and written a biography. What a horrible story it is. Oh, this is a pretty new story. Every single news outlet is covering it. First thing I see when I look at that image is how unrealistic it looks. The jury hears from medical expert at trial of nurses accused of babies. Do they not generally, if they're prosecuting someone, remember Baby P, and they wouldn't even mention the name of the baby? Did they mention the suspects at the time? I'm pretty sure they didn't. They tried to protect the identities because they were going to trial, maybe for a separate story. This is the ear, Weird Ear Brigade. This won't be the first time you'll see a very strange looking ear tonight. Susan says, does not look female to me. Is it a PSYOP? It doesn't actually look particularly human to me, I will be honest. When you see pictures like that, the jury in the trial of a nurse accused of murdering 7 babies and trying to kill 10 more have heard from an independent medical expert. While they get 32 in, of course, Lucy Letby, 32, is charged with a murder and attempted murder of babies at a neonatal ward, Countess of Chester Hospital, in 15 and 16. She denies 22 charges. Susan, it speaks for itself in my book. The numbers give it away. The crap images give it away. Dr. Dewey Evans, the independent medical expert, took the jury through explanations of neonatal care and medical terms during the 5th day of the trial. Just because the stories say a PSYOP doesn't mean that they don't take it to court as if it were real. They still pay all the solicitors. They still make sure they get their cut. On Friday, jurors initially received a tutorial on how to use iPads on which much of the evidence will be loaded digitally in place of paper files. Brilliant. They don't even need physical evidence anymore. They're doing it on iPads. What are we looking at? Digitally loaded evidence. They could plant that. They can make it. Send someone on Photoshop and just ask them to design whatever piece of evidence they want. Is this photo itself proof that this nurse is a legitimate person? Are there people out there that has ever worked with this person? Who knows? Not much definition. Maybe it's just the image quality, but it looks like the chin is merged with the neck. That picture's one for the scrapbook. I think it will probably come up again at some point. The 8 women and 4 men of the jury were shown a walkthrough video. Dr. Evans, the first witness called in the trial. Why didn't they just load his voice up on the iPad? Who needs physical witnesses anymore? Just do it all on the iPad, which is expected to last up to 6 months. Wow. That's a whopper. Think of the fees off the state, of course. Said he began working in paediatrics 40 years ago and had worked neonatal units in Swansea, Cardiff, Liverpool. He told the jury about the evolution of such care to the present day, a process he described as not of reading books, very much hands-on. Dr. Evans added, in the 70s, babies who were small and ill died. There was very little care available. Why would they release this to the public? I am evil, I did this. Oh my goodness. They've got a handwritten confession. How perfect. Letby wrote down phrases on a post-it note, included, I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them, and I did this. Looks pretty conclusive if you ask me. Sorry, Letby. I think you're stuffed, love. Yeah, this is rubbish from start to finish. Think of a post-it note, how tiny her handwriting must be in order to write all this down. I feel very alone. What does the future hold? Crap. But yeah, interesting one. Coincidentally, finding the terrorist's passport among the wreckage. Isn't that just perfect? They found a post-it note. All digitally uploaded, of course. No actual physical post-it note. They're all looking at it on iPad. Dr. Evans also gave explanation of medical terms which have been heard during the start of the trial. And all these experts have had to come up with content to give the jury for 6 months. He also commented on a series of short videos demonstrated. I thought it was going to be short videos of Laura Letby telling her followers on Facebook how much she hated babies. He's directing them to YouTube videos as part of his evidence. Great. His evidence to the trial came after the defence told the court that Letby cared deeply for those she had looked after. Lawyer Ben Myers, KC, said she trained hard to be a nurse and what she wanted was to care for babies she looked after. The defence says she is not guilty of causing intentional harm to any baby or killing any baby. She loves her job, cares deeply, and also for the families. She had a fulfilling life, friends, and a life outside work. Wide shoulders, I will point that out. Is there any footage of this person talking? I doubt it. Manchester Crown Court had earlier heard that Letby had written "I am evil" on a post-it note. How fortunate. This newspaper article wouldn't report that unless they were 100% sure it was true, right? We have, of course, seen a screenshot of it. Anyone with an ounce of human understanding would be able to see that the notes were the anguished outpouring of a young woman in fear and despair when she realised the enormity of what is being said about her. Who owns the copyright on all these images? What, do you think they came off her Facebook page? The images are always owned by people that provide news stories. Okay, this image was provided by the Independent, so how they got it, who knows? Who owns the copyright on that? PA. Yeah, their name comes up a lot. PA. That is an organisation where, let's say, the Daily Mirror will have a contract with them, among other ones, for them to supply them news to put in their rag or to put on their website. And who owns the copyright on the last image of her? The Independent. How are they providing all these images? Perhaps they bought them. Crazy that if that is a genuine case going on at the moment, insane that they would be sharing all that information. Susan, you thought it was off. I agree, something very off about that. However, always keep an open mind. You can't auto-hoax, as it were. Mudlark, I totally agree with you when you say you don't believe anything in the mainstream anymore. To say the court case is real, let's say there is actually a court case going on in Manchester at the moment. Well, I'm pretty sure they held a court case for Gorgonzola, the guy who did tack in Burke Street, Australia. His court case happened. I mean, court cases go on, which are linked with stories that are complete and utter crap. So let's not be fooled. I'm guessing the official conspiracy theory, as in the one provided, supplied, just like the images of Lucy, the idea that she might be getting blamed for someone else's. There's all sorts of alternative scenarios you could come up with for that one, but unfortunately I think it's all off the scriptwriter's pad. This is going to go on for 6 months. It isn't going away. Susan, thank you ever so much for sharing that one.